Sig P226. What an outstanding pistol. The one you have in front of you is a little bit of a different variant from some that you've probably seen, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But I wanted to give a review on this pistol now that I've had it for some time. It goes with me to the range almost every time I go. Such a fun gun to shoot. Man, is it accurate and reliable. For me personally, it's a great home defense pistol. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about some of the specs of this pistol. We'll talk a little bit about the P226 and where it originated as well. So let's get right into it. Sig P226. This was originally brought in to replace the 1911 with the military trials. It has since been adopted by a lot of Special Forces units. The Navy SEALs carry the 226, along with a slew of other special operations and law enforcement details. So, outstanding track record, you could say. It's so well built and so suited for these type of Special Forces units, but it is also suited for the civilian, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let's get right into it. What we've got in front of us is a Sig P226 9mm. The version that we have in front of us is a gray Cerakoted framed finish. Cerakote is a ceramic-based protectant, much like Duracoating. I think it's a little bit better. But there you go. It gives the look of stainless at a fraction of the weight, which is excellent. On this particular version, it has a short reset trigger. It also has Siglight night sights, and it also has Sig Sauer's E2 grips. A lot of the Sigs have so many different parts that you can switch out, like the grips. The E2 is on a lot of their elite versions of their guns. I like this one the best. So, also Streamlight TLR-3 weapon light. This is on my pistol, but it's not. It doesn't come with the gun. Everything else came with it. So let's get right in. Let's talk about it. Now, this gun weighs in at 28.2 ounces empty, without the magazine. This is a pretty light gun. I was kind of surprised. I know that some older SIGs with steel frames, you can compare them to like 1911s, are a lot heavier. It's not the most lightweight gun out there, but for its use, it's definitely in the ballpark. And for me, that use is home defense gun. If I needed to, God forbid, defend my home, I feel completely confident with this pistol. For a multitude of reasons. I chose this gun in 9mm, so it houses 15+1 round in the magazine. Also, it has a tactical rail. Obviously, you can see I have a light mounted on it, which is nice. The Siglight night sights are outstanding as well. Man, those things glow at night really well. They don't need any charging or anything of that nature. So here we go. Let's talk about it. So the Sig 226 is a little different than some handguns out there for a couple of reasons. One is that you don't have, like a 1911, safety that stops the trigger from moving. What you have instead with this gun is a dedicated hammer drop. That's this trigger right here, and I'll demonstrate it for you guys. By the way, we are safety checked. Nothing in the gun. Alright? Okay, so hammer's back, the trigger is pulled back, we're ready to fire. We decide not to fire. Dedicated hammer drop right here. As you can see, I can pull it down with my hand. When it gets all the way down to the bottom, it'll snap into place, releasing the hammer safely without firing the pistol. So there you go. With that, also what you can see is it moves the trigger forward. So that tells us this is a double action to single action pistol. This is really great for me in the role that I use it, because to me, I don't want to be fumbling around with safeties in the middle of the night if something were to happen. What I like about it is that I can lower the hammer, put it into double action mode, and it requires a more intentful, you could say, trigger pull. It's just one less thing to worry about. It still creates a safe environment. This is a pretty stiff trigger pull from double action, so you don't have to worry about anything. One thing I will say though about the the trigger. This one being this short reset trigger. I'm a 1911 guy. I have a couple of them. My carry weapon on a daily basis is 1911, but getting the short reset trigger was a smart move because it creates a little bit of a less of a trigger pull, and it's more of a crisp snap when you finally pull the trigger. It has a really nice break. It doesn't make it a 1911 trigger, but it makes it a lot closer. I've shot a lot of other handguns that, you hear 1911 guys just don't like to shoot other weapons. They don't like SIGs, they don't like Glocks. For me, this trigger made this gun an absolute must. Made a huge difference. So, let's talk about the magazine well, okay? You can look right here. It's beveled out a little bit, not too much, but a fair amount. It's just like all the other SIGs. Also, the mag button is completely reachable from your grip position of your pistol without having to move your hand, which is really nice. Alright, I'll leave that out. Zoom out here a little bit. Alright, so the barrel length of this gun is 4.4 inches. The grips, these are actually a polymer, but man, the texturing on these grips makes it an outstanding hold. You don't need to go buy any grip tape or anything of that nature if you are in shooting leagues or anything like that. And I tell you what, this gun could actually do the job in that world as well. Extremely accurate, and man is it fast. There's another video on the channel here of me doing a mag dump with this thing. And you can go look for yourself. It's extremely fast. That video, I put a lot of rounds downrange pretty quick, but the gun goes faster than that. That's just as fast as I can do, and even come remotely close to staying on some sort of target. So there you go. Reverse two-tone is what they call it. This model isn't being made anymore, but you can still buy it at places. If this is a gun that you want, I'd go check it out. But it's just a variant of the Sig. They have a million of them. They have this exact same model without the Cerakote finish, still has the rail, all that kind of stuff. They do still make that one. But like I said, you can still find this one. Let's see what we got here. The gun is shipped with 2 magazines, so it has this one, also had one more, which is kind of nice. It came in at about $800, so still comparable to the other SIGs that are out there. But for what you get for your money, I have some more high-end guns that cost a lot more. I have, guns with specialty sights and this and that. And I tell you what, for the price, this gun is outstanding. It holds up to all of those and then some for a fraction of the price. Now, 800 is still a little bit steep maybe, but you get an extreme amount of value for that $800, which is really nice. Let's get into field strip and maintenance. So field strip on this. You have a slide release right here that swings downward. This swings downward and allows you to take off the slide. And the way you do that is you pull back your slide until it locks into place. There we go. And you can see that creates this little notch right here, giving the tip of this slide release room to swivel downward. Go ahead and pull it down, and you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to switch hands, trying to do this around the tripod. There we go. Now when you release the slide lock, everything comes off. And minimalistic in design is the Sig 226, which makes it run so well. I've heard this gun is referred to as a revolver of pistols because of how reliable it is, and I tell you what, it makes sense. Such an outstanding gun. So, needless to say, for me, for a bedside roll, home defense, has a rail on it, is extremely accurate, runs and runs and runs without any issues. The Sig 226 is an outstanding choice. This is probably one of my favorite range guns as well. Could you carry it on a concealed carry? It's kind of wide, but some people do it. Some people do it. For me, I like a smaller gun. But there you go. 9mm 226, highly recommended. Go check it out. If you want this version, you can still find it a few places, but I would suggest getting searching pretty quick because times are running out. Thanks a lot.